Thanks for coming to 1500ESPN.com. Judd, Zulgad, Jess Myers, XL Energy Center, where once again, Jess, the Minnesota Wild, looking like they might be dead, have won a hockey game. This time 4-0 over the Chicago Blackhawks in Game 3 of their second round series. They were down 2-0, lost both games in Chicago, come back here, win, now 2-1. Game 4 not till Friday night, right back here at the X. All right, let's get to it. Mikael, no surprise, went out of his way post-game tonight to praise his veterans, yes. Parise, Koivu, all the usual suspects who you would praise. But the key to this game, to me at least, are two keys. Erik Haula, Mikael Granlund. Granlund 2 goals. Haula had a breakaway in the first period. Duncan Keith slashed him. Puck goes off his stick. But Haula comes back 141 in the third period, Jess, and scores first goal of the game. If the veterans did play well, then the youngsters set the tone.
I joked with Justin Fontaine after the game. I said, you know, you're playing against this guy 2 years ago in college. You ever think, man, if I could be on a line with Erik Haula, that would be a lot of fun. The goal that Haula scored, and the breakaway was, you know, a nice play. Puck rolled off his stick after he was slashed a little bit. The goal that he scored was just a revelation to me about his team speed. Now, we've seen him turn on the Jets all season, but that play where he's behind Fontaine, makes a headman pass to Fontaine, Fontaine takes the puck into the zone. By the time he goes to pass it on net, Haula has already made it all the way to the side of the crease. I mean, blew by everybody on the play. Fontaine said it was a relatively easy play for him. He could just put it in the right area and know that Haula is going to be there, gets a puck out of mid-air, gets the goal. Turns out to be the game winner, you know, and most importantly, I think, really ignited the crowd after 2 periods of kind of not great hockey.
First 2 periods of this game reminded me of the 2003 Game 1 Western Conference Finals. It put you to sleep.
Game?
It put you to sleep. The first 2 periods of this game. But here's the thing with Chicago, and here's the difference from the Colorado series. Chicago, if you let them skate, they will just skate. Chicago doesn't want the extracurriculars. They don't want to fight you. They want to lull you to sleep and score goals. But this is where Haula is such an interesting player. He's so fast. He's the type of player that can combat Chicago. The Wild has grinders. Their veteran guys they're not great skaters. They're skilled players, but they're not great skaters. But Haula is for Chicago, I think, a tough matchup because he's the one guy who you put out there and all of a sudden they say, hold on a second here. This guy can do what we do, and not many people can do that.
Yeah, people say going into this series you're not going to match Chicago's speed. In Haula and in that line, that is the one place where you can match Chicago's speed for speed. Now, Chicago, to their credit, tried to match Minnesota defense for defense. I was amazed in the first 2 periods at the number of block shots the Blackhawks had. They blocked 14 shots in the first 2 periods.
Yes.
You know, the Wild only had 10 shots in the first 40 minutes. They had attempted a lot more than that. They just weren't able to get pucks through to Corey Crawford. Crawford was so good in the first 2 games when they finally did start to get some pucks to him, and he said this himself, you can't allow 3 goals plus an empty netter in any one period of any game. You're going to lose that game.
The incredible thing about the Blackhawks' skill of blocking pucks is a couple years ago, the New York Rangers had it down to a science, but they would go down and block the puck. And so I recall in the playoffs it got to be people talking about shoot at their heads, basically, so they won't do it. The Blackhawks don't go down, though.
No.
The Blackhawks block your shot while staying up. It's all getting in the lane. It's all sticks.
They get in lanes. They just clog things up. And, you know, Fontaine talked about that, too, just being patient and moving the puck. You know, Minnesota Wild fans, I love them. They had the biggest crowd in team history tonight, they announced. The way they yell shoot every time they start moving the puck around, knock it off. You know, they've got a plan here. They're trying to look for lanes. They're trying to open stuff up instead of shooting pucks into guys and just getting more block shots.
Brizgalov tonight gets the shutout. In his first playoff start this year at home, he stops 19 shots. He made some nice saves. Third period, he made it interesting, at least on one play where he was crawling around. But Brizgalov, for me, this is absolutely huge because in Game 1, we could go back and forth. The Kane backhand goal is a beautiful goal.
Right.
I think it needs to be stopped, but we can debate that. But in Game 2, Brizgalov did nothing wrong.
Right.
And people were talking about, well, the Wild needs more goaltending. And Jess, what I've said from day one is Brizgalov single-handedly probably is not going to win you a playoff game, but the way he played tonight certainly has to instill confidence in him.
He doesn't have to be great. He just has to be good enough, and tonight he was good enough. And the thing you forget about this guy, he's got a Stanley Cup ring. You know, he was part of that Ducks team in 2007.
He's very good.
He had 3 shutouts in 2006 in the playoffs for Anaheim in a backup role. You know, so this guy has been down this road before for all his goofiness, you know, and Deadspin showing off the 10-minute video of his wackiest quotes today that, you know, was getting getting hits all over the internet. I mean, this guy is a sensation all of a sudden, and he's just happy to be playing, and as he said, sleeping in your own bed, playing at home, playing in front of an enthusiastic crowd. And this has got to be a lot of fun for him, considering that on March 1st he was buried in Edmonton's system and didn't know if he would play again with any regularity.
Late second period or so, Ryan Suter and Haula collide, and Suter gets the worst of it and goes to the locker room, actually. Left the ice, went to the locker room with what appeared to be a shoulder injury of potential significance. No surprise, started the third period. This is playoff hockey. Ryan Suter is on the ice. And no surprise, after the game, Mike Yeo said, it's not that big a deal. From what I hear, it's no problem. Well, this is hockey once again. How much do you think the 2 days off now, or what? It's Wednesday, Thursday, back on Friday.
Two full days off.
2 full days off will help Suter. And are you buying that it's no big deal, or are you saying to yourself, this is hockey, this could be a big deal? But the thing about hockey players is he might just put a sling on the darn thing and play.
Keep in mind, Bergeron from Boston played the Stanley Cup Finals last year with a hole in his lung. We've had stories.
You don't want to fly with a hole in your lung.
We've had stories about guys, playing with broken legs. Nicholas Hjalmarsson, who I thought had a great game tonight for Chicago, could not speak today because he took a puck in the throat in Game 2. So it may be a big deal. We will not know the severity of it until the Wild season is over. I mean, he, for all intents and purposes, could be playing with a dislocated shoulder. I'm just pulling that out of thin air. I don't know that.
But when the coach tells you it's no big deal, that doesn't mean it's not a big deal.
This is the playoffs. He's going to keep playing. He's not going to be off the ice unless something breaks.
Last thing for you. Do we have a series here?
Yeah, I think we do have a series here.
Now, just a hard tell with this team.
It absolutely is, and we've said it all year, but this is a team that will not do anything the easy way. So I could see them coming out and losing, Game 4 and then winning the next 2 or something goofy like that, because that's just been the MO of this team. But Chicago's stung a little bit now. They asked Corey Crawford, we asked him tonight about, do you need to regroup? He said, we don't need to regroup. We know what we can do. We had one bad period. If you're the Wild, you played one good period and it got you back into the series, but you really need to win that Game 4 because going down 3-1, we saw it last year, as a recipe for disaster.
Thank you, sir. He is Jess Myers. Read his stuff, 1500ESPN.com. I'm Judd Zulgad, on with Mackey 9 to 1 weekdays, and also occasionally post a story on our website. I'm sure we'll be back here on Friday once I'm done with my draft responsibilities, as the Wild and Blackhawks will resume the series here on Friday evening at the XL. Thanks for visiting the website, and have a great day or night or whenever you watch this.